latest lectures as I upload them on YouTube. So that's something I would want you to do. Just subscribe and click the notification bell so that anytime I post a video, you'll be the first to receive it. Then you can also follow us on social media, on Facebook at Pinnacle Professional College, on Instagram at Pinnacle Professional College as well. And so let's talk about today's objectives. We'll be looking at PIMS. We'll be delving more into the strategic models. Again, the strategic models are a lot, and so we are spending time to understand them. We'll be looking at PIMS analysis or PIMS analysis. We'll be talking about some strategic models, as I said. We'll be talking about strategic forecasts. And then we'll talk a little bit about ethics and corporate social responsibility. So let's move in. Let's dive in right away. What is PIMS analysis? So PIMS analysis stands for Profit Impact of Marketing Strategy Analysis. The profit impact of marketing strategy. So this is basically looking at the marketing strategy of organizations and what the potential or yielded profit impact looks like. So the PIMS data contains data provided by several strategic business units of corporations, and this database has, a twist to it where organizations are able to analyze the factors that appear to make some marketing strategies more successful than the other. Organizations run what we call, usually when they put out projects, they run what we call post-evaluation review. So, for example, if you are rolling out a product, right, there will be a marketing roadmap, there will be a marketing strategy. But we want to understand what will be the profit impact on that. Marketing is spend, is expenditure. So you are putting in money to get something else. And you want to understand, okay, what is the potential profit I'll gain from this marketing expenditure, from this marketing strategy that I'm putting out there? That's very, very important. What are some of the findings of the PIMS analysis? Number one, although high market share reduces costs and so should improve profitability and return, the benefits that accrue to high market share can be lost due to poor quality. That's very, very important. So when you have a high market share, one of the things you need to watch out for is the quality of your product, because if the quality of your product is poor, you can lose your market share. You can lose business as a result of that. Another finding of the PIMS analysis, which is quite obvious, is that high investment in capital expenditure reduces profitability, or seems to reduce profitability. A very high investment in capital equipment seems to reduce profitability. That's very, very important. Yeah. And another finding of the PIMS analysis is that the relative quality, the relative quality of a product or service is an important factor in obtaining high investment returns. So, what makes people stick with your product is the quality of the product. If they buy it, even though it might be cheap and it doesn't last, they will not come back again to buy. So one of the ways to retain high investment returns is to produce quality products or services. Now let's talk about product-based and resource-based strategies. So what is a product-based strategy? What's a resource-based strategy? A product-based strategy basically is where a firm identifies the product that it wants to sell and the market or the segments in which it wants to sell them. So this is more product focused, right? The firm decides, okay, I want to sell product X, then finds the market that would love that product, or that would want that product, or that would need that product. The focus of attention here is the products which are likely to be successful in their markets. So like I said, it's product focused. So that's it for product-based strategy. Now let's move on to resource-based strategy. In a resource-based strategy, instead of looking for just profitable product or just focusing on products, An entity rather looks at its strengths and competencies. The entity looks within to understand its strengths and competencies in terms of its internal resources. The entity will then go ahead to look for the product or the market opportunities that will enable it to explore its strengths and competencies or its core competencies. So let me explain the difference again. The product-based strategy focuses on finding a profitable product and finding a market that would, love that product or that would buy that product. The resource strategy doesn't focus on looking for a profitable product, but it looks at the strengths and competencies of the business, right? And then by that, when it has that figured out, it's able to look for products and market opportunities that will enable it to exploit those internal resources or those core competencies. Very important. Very important. Now let's talk about 4 key areas for successful strategy development. 4 key areas for successful strategy development. You have number 1, product market scope, or what we call the strategic scope. The entity should make clear the product market areas in which it expects to operate. It should be clear the scope of the market, or the scope of the product, or what we call the strategic scope, should be made clear. It should be made clear in which areas it would like to operate. Not all products can, operate everywhere. So you need to identify the market areas in which you like to operate. And you have competitive advantage. Competitive advantage. The entity should identify those properties of product market areas in which it intends to operate in a way that will give the entity a strong competitive advantage over its rivals. So competitive advantage is an area for successful strategy development. So organizations will find out, okay, which areas do they intend to operate that will give them a strong competitive edge over their competitors. You have what we call the growth vector. The growth vector, very interesting concept. A growth vector is simply the direction in which the entity is moving. Where is basically the direction of the entity in terms of its product market position. So what is the direction? Anytime you hear vector, you are talking about the direction the entity is moving. The direction the entity is moving. Very, very key. Then you have another area is synergy. Synergy. So an entity should be able to gauge how much it might benefit from a synergy by moving into new product market areas. So here we are talking about new product areas or new market areas. What will be some of the benefits that the entity will expect to benefit or will expect to gain by moving into new market areas or new product areas? Very key. Then you have growth vector analysis. Growth vector analysis. So we talked about growth vector, which is the direction, the direction of the organization. That is, the direction of the organization is moving from its current product market position. Now let's talk about Ansoffs Matrix, the Ansoff Matrix. What is the Ansoffs Matrix all about? So Ansoff basically argued that when a firm is planning its growth strategies, there should be a link between its current products and markets and its future products and markets. Always think product plus market, because you don't sell products in a vacuum. You sell products in a market. So Ansoff is saying, let's look at current products and its markets and future products and its markets. And that's what we talk about when we refer to growth vector. Now, let's talk about the market penetration strategy. The market penetration strategy. And let's look at when it comes to the Ansoffs Matrix, right? Let's look at existing products or current products versus current markets. Remember, the Ansoff is telling us that we should look at, when we are planning our growth strategies, we should have a link between current products and markets versus future products and markets. So let's look at current products and current markets, or existing products and existing markets. In such a situation like this, what you need to deploy is a market penetration strategy. With a market penetration strategy, an entity seeks to sell more of its current products in its existing markets. This strategy is a sensible choice in a market that is growing fast. If the market is growing very fast, then there's an opportunity here. But if the market is saturated and you are still selling a current product in that market, it might not move as fast as you want, because there's fast growth. A fast growth in the market is suitable for this strategy. Organizations can sell existing products in an existing market. So how can this market penetration strategy, be possible? There are three ways in which this strategy might be successful. Number one is to persuade existing customers to use more of the products or service, and so they will buy more. So if a customer is buying, let's say, one, you want them to buy three items of your product. Another strategy is that you need to persuade individuals who have not bought the products in the past to start buying the product as well. That's also part of market penetration. Then another strategy is you can also persuade individuals who are buying from your competitor to switch to yours. So that is the strategy, the market penetration strategy in relation to, existing products versus the existing market. Now let's move on to other issues and talk about the market development strategy. A market development strategy. Think about the name very carefully, market development strategy. Here you have new markets versus existing products. You have new markets versus existing products. The previous one, we said existing markets, existing product. This one is new markets because it's a market development, right? The name suggests you are developing a new market. So market development involves opening up new markets for existing products. And there are ways for, pursuing this strategy, where the organization can sell its products in new geographical markets. So, for example, if they are selling in the West African region, they can move on to, let's say, the South African region. That's selling their products in new geographical market. They haven't changed their products, not new products, but they are just selling it in new markets. Then you have another strategy that would make this work, where the entity can try to attract customers in new market segments. You can try to attract customers in new market segments by offering them slightly differentiated versions of your existing products, or by making them available through different distribution channels. So you can attract new customers in new market segments by, giving them a differentiated version of your product, differentiating your product to make it look a bit unique. And, or you can make them available, a product available through different distribution channels. So that's it for new markets versus existing products. Then let's talk about the product development strategy. Now, when you hear the word development, what should come to your mind is new. So here we have new products versus existing markets. Very simple. So there are several reasons for choosing this strategy. The business entity might have a strong brand name for its products, and it can extend the goodwill of the brand name to new products. So organizations might have a line of products and they might have a very good brand. So it means that when they bring out a new product, people are more likely to latch on to it because of their brand and their reputation when it comes to their own products. When it comes to developing new products, the entity must have a very, very good research and development team, and be able to react to new technological developments. So another thing we need to know here is that the market accommodates the development of new products. The market is structured in such a way that it accommodates the development of new products, And another thing too is the entity may want to respond to a strategic initiative by a major competitor when the competitor has developed a new product. So this might be a response to a competitor. So when you see a competitor develop a new product, you might want to respond by also coming up with one as well. So this is the product development strategy. But the only disadvantage here is that developing new products, it takes time and it's expensive, because research and development, coming up with a new product, is not that easy. It's not that easy at all. And another thing you need to know is that a lot of new products are unsuccessful. Usually we talk about the successes, but the number of failed new products are so many. So that's something to watch out for. Then let's talk about the diversification strategy. The diversification. Here we are looking at new markets and new products. New market, new product. And there are basically two types of diversification, right? There's one we call the concentric diversification, which is called related or horizontal diversification, which means that the new product market area is related in some way to the existing products and markets. So there's a relationship between the new product market area and the old product market area. There's some relationship, and that's why it's called horizontal diversification. They also have conglomerate diversification, which means that the new product market area is not related in any way. There's no relationship when it comes to the entity's current or existing products and markets. So always keep that in mind. When it comes to the diversification strategy, we are talking about new product versus new markets. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of trying to understand the concept of gap analysis. So gap analysis is simply a technique that might be used in strategic planning. A gap is simply the difference between the position of a business and the position a business entity wants to be in by the end of the planning period, and the position the entity is likely to be in if it does not have any new strategy or change in strategy. So what is gap analysis? It's simply the difference between your expected performance and your actual performance. That's the gap. That's the gap. It's used in strategic planning to kind of like track progress and track performance. So that's a simple definition for gap analysis. Gap analysis. Then we have to, when you identify gaps, you have to find methods of, strategic development. You have to find methods of strategic development. So let's talk about the different ways, right? Number one is the growth through internal development. You can grow through internal development, or what people call you can grow organically. An entity might grow a business with its own resources, seeking to increase sales and profits each year. So you are here, you are growing organically, you are growing with your own resources. What are the advantages? What are the advantages of growing through internal development? It's organic. So basically, management can control the rate of growth and ensure that the entity has sufficient resources to grow successfully. It's just like a car, right? A car has an accelerator. There's a point where you can, step on the accelerator and your car will go so fast, but that can be dangerous and can lead to an accident. So with it going through internal development, management can control the rate of growth or the speed at which they grow, and to be in line with the sufficiency of the resources that they have. And growth through internal development focuses on its core competencies, focuses on the organization's core competencies, their, skills, their strengths, and be able to grow in that line or in that order. Very, very important. Very, very important. What are the disadvantages of going through internal development? There's probably a limit to which you can go, because at certain points in time, your internal resources may not be able to, fuel your growth. And sometimes you need to acquire talents, acquire equipment in order to grow. Sometimes you need to invest in new capacity. Very important to grow. So growing through internal development, can be limited to a sense, because sometimes you need to acquire new capacity, new skills from outside that you do not necessarily have internally. Now, one interesting growth model that we all need to understand is the Greiners growth model or Greiners growth model. So Greiner suggested that an entity that grows in size goes through a series of changes as it gets bigger. Each change occurs in a response to a crisis when the existing organization and management structure is no longer capable of handling a business as large as it has now become. So it's basically saying here, Greiner is saying here that change occurs in response to a crisis. Change occurs in response to a crisis. So a crisis has to happen to fuel a change. So let's see his thought process and the growth phases he's looking at. It's a very, very interesting model. Very, very interesting model. So let's look at his thought process and see what he's thinking. So he says there's a first phase, which is phase one, which is the period of growth through creativity. This is basically the early years of a successful business entity, right? Where there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of innovation. The entity starts in a very, very entrepreneurial way and is basically producing new products and is venturing into new markets, and that becomes the nature of the organization. These organizations that are going through a period of growth through creativity have basically flat organizational structures where, where it's not really structured. It's not really structured and it's not hierarchical in nature. These organizations are not hierarchical in nature. In such organizations, one of the things they might need is, organize, like I said, organized planning and control systems and a bit of structure, a bit of structure. And the crisis here that will fuel the change for the next phase is a crisis of leadership, in leadership. Because you need leadership to take an organization to the next level. So in that period of growth through creativity, that's what may be lacking. So there's a crisis of leadership. Management must become more professional. The entity therefore introduces professional management and it enters into its next phase of growth. So that's why when startups begin, they begin very small, very entrepreneurial, but at a point they need to bring in some leadership, to fuel the growth of the organization. Now let's talk about the phase two, the period of growth through direction. The entity at this point has become more structured with, a traditional management hierarchy. Then here, formal systems are introduced. There's planning systems, there's control systems, there's accounting systems, there's, communication systems, all kinds of systems are introduced. But the problem here is that there's a crisis of autonomy. And what is the crisis of autonomy? The tensions that happen between senior management and the local management grow, until these local managers are given more authority to take decisions for themselves. The entity will be managed inefficiently at the top. So there's sort of a clash, and these two groups of people, which is the senior management and the local management, are fighting for autonomy. And what senior management should learn here is to give power to the people to be able to decentralize so that it moves the organization to the next level. So in that case, the next phase will be phase three, which is the period of growth through delegation. So management has learned their lessons from the previous phase, and now they are now going to delegate or decentralize. In order to survive, the entity is reorganized and much authority delegated to local managers. So now there's a lot of delegation going on here. The entity is now organized into divisions, divisions, units, and all that. And even though there might be a central management will receive the reports from divisions, but now the divisional managers or the local managers will be able to take decisions on how the divisions or units should be run. Very, very important. Very, very important. But a crisis that occurs here, remember we said that the Greiners growth model stipulates that change occurs in response to crisis. But the crisis that occurs here is a crisis of control. It's a crisis of control. Central or the senior management must change the organization and management structure so that they don't lose control, because they might have delegated so much that They might be losing control. This leads the entity into the next phase of development, a period of growth through coordination. So phase 4 is a period of growth through coordination. Very, very interesting. A period of growth through coordination. In this phase of growth, the central management or the senior management monitor their local managers carefully using sophisticated reporting systems. Local managers become accountable. They have to be accountable even though they've been given delegated authority. The focus now becomes on coordinating the different activities of the different divisions within an entity, and bringing them all into one, all into one. However, the problem here is that as the business continues to grow, the reporting systems, the systems of reporting creates a very, very bureaucratic culture at the head office, and what will happen is that local managers will become so annoyed that they have to produce so many reports to be reports upon reports upon reports, and will have to be explaining so much to the head office, when they feel like, oh, I could be spending my time, doing important stuff. And so this will lead to a crisis of what we call red tape or red tapeism. Red tapeism simply means bureaucracy, a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of form filling, a lot of report writing. So this phase, that's what it brings. And because this crisis occurs, the crisis of red tapeism or crisis of bureaucracy, it leads us to the next phase, which is the 5th phase, which is called the period of growth through collaboration. And Greiner suggested that the crisis of red tape leads to a further change. So to overcome the problems of red tape, head office management and local managers find ways to collaborate more constructively. So here, it allows for collaboration. There's a greater emphasis here on teamwork and problem solving. And there's less emphasis on just reporting. And here, decision-making is more participatory. Decision-making is more participatory. So here, this phase, which is the 5th phase and final phase, focuses more on collaboration. If entities continue to grow, they will have to go through the phases of transformation. If they do not, they will become inefficient and will fail to survive. So that's very, very important. The last phase, as I said, is the period of growth through collaboration. Now let's talk about mergers and acquisitions. Mergers and acquisitions, very, very interesting concept. So what is a merger? What is an acquisition? A merger is simply when two entities come together that are approximately the same size. With an acquisition, one entity that is larger than the other acquires the other or buys the other. So a merger, two entities of the same size or relatively same size or similar size come together. By acquisition, one entity is bigger than the other and therefore buys the other or gains control over the other. What are the advantages of acquisitions and mergers? What are the advantages? Growth by acquisition is much faster than growth through internal development. Remember that we said that there are two ways or two methods for strategic development. Two methods for strategic development. Number one was what? Growth through internal development. Number two, now we are talking about growth through mergers and acquisitions. Growth through mergers and acquisitions. Very, very important. Very, very key. So what are the advantages? Growth by acquisition or merger is much faster. It's faster than growth through internal development. An acquisition can give a buyer the immediate ownership of new products, new markets, and new customers. That may be difficult to achieve through internal development. So that's something to look out for. But the disadvantages of mergers and acquisition are that an acquisition can be expensive. It's expensive to buy, buy a company, buy a product, because probably a lot of people might even be bidding for it, and it pushes the prices high. It pushes the prices high. Another problem with mergers and acquisition is that the two different entities might have different organizational cultures, structures, management styles, different systems, etc. So when you're bringing those two organizations together, there will be some clashes and some shocks when it comes to that. And so that's something that will have to be managed, right? will have to be managed. And also, there's another problem where mergers and acquisitions, usually send a negative response to employees. So, for example, if one company is going to acquire the other, the employees of the acquired company would feel that they might be losing their jobs, there'll be redundancies, etc. And it could even affect good employees, and very, very talented employees might leave. When individuals from different cultures are brought in together into a single organization, there will be a clash of cultures, and it might be difficult for individuals from different cultures to work together easily. So basically, that's what we are saying, right? There might be clash of cultures, and that might create problems in the organization. So this is where I'll bring this lecture to an end. We'll be doing another lecture on strategic models part 3. So please look forward to that. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. And also hit the notification bell as well, so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be the first to get it. Thank you and have a good day.